Mike and Carol are getting a divorce and must divide up some of their assets. They use the adjusted winner procedure. Who gets what? So the first step of the adjusted winner procedure is to assign 100 points to each person to distribute amongst the items. So that's already been done for us. So what we're going to do is go through and mark out who assigned more points to each item. So with the retirement account, Carol gave it 50, Mike gave it 40, so Carol wants it more than Mike. So we'll give it to her for now. For the home, Mike gave it more points than Carol. For the timeshare, Carol. For the investments, we have a tie, so let's leave that alone for a second. And then the other things, Mike gave more than Carol. So for the time being, let's add up each column to see how much each person has. So Carol has 50 and 15, so 65, and Mike only has 40. So right now, Carol has more than Mike. So the tie is going to go to Mike because he has less points. Okay, so even though Mike got the tie, he still has less points. So that means that Carol needs to give something up. So what we're going to do is figure out how much of something she needs to give up by finding what are called point ratios. So of the two items that Carol has, let's divide it by what Mike assigned it. So for the retirement account, Carol gave it 50, Mike gave it 40. So 50 divided by 40 is 1.25. 15 divided by 10 is 1.5. And those are the only two items we're looking at. Okay, even though the tie would give you 1 exactly, Carol doesn't have it. So Carol can't give it to Mike because Mike already has it. So the only two items we're looking at are what Carol has. So to determine which item is split up, we say which one is closer to 1, because the closer you are to 1, the closer your points are together. So 1.25 is closer to 1 than 1.5. So that means that we're going to split up the retirement account. So that is going to get split up. Okay, so what we need to do is set up an equation so that Carol's points will equal Mike's points. So let's say that Carol gets some part of the retirement account. We don't know what it is, so we'll call it X. So if she gets, let's say, 20%, then Mike would get the other 80%. So the way that we found that is by taking 100% minus X. As a decimal, that would just be 1 minus X. So now we're going to set up an equation where Carol needs to equal Mike so that this is fair. So in Carol, in her column, we have 50 times the X plus the 15. So that needs to equal Mike, which is 40 times the 1 minus X plus the 30 plus the 10 plus the 10. Okay, so that's the hardest part of the problem, is figuring out that equation. So now that we have the equation, we just go through and solve. So I'm going to distribute that 40 inside the parentheses. Okay, the 30, the 10, and the 10, that was 50. Okay, so now on the left side, we have 90 minus 40x. So solving for x, I need to get the x's together, so I'm going to add 40x to both sides. And then getting the number on the other side, I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. So then solving, divide by 90. So x is equal to 75 over 90. We can reduce that a little bit. 75 divided by 5 is 15. 90 divided by 5 is 18. I think we can go one more step, take a 3 out of there, so 5 out of 6. Okay, so x, keep in mind that x was assigned to Carol. So Carol's going to get 5/6 of the retirement account. So that means that Mike will get the other part, which is 1/6. So writing out the final allocation, Carol is going to get 5/6 of the retirement account. The other thing that was circled was the timeshare. Okay, Mike is going to get the other part of the retirement account, so 1/6. And then the other things circled for him were the home, the investments, and the other.